Hello guys, how are we doing today? So you've started your new Pilates business, you're starting to create some momentum, you're putting your name out there, you're putting your adverts out, you're going on social media, you are engaging clients, you're having conversations with clients, you are having conversations in group chats on Facebook, perhaps you are having real conversations with real people, and you are meeting friends and getting your friends to refer clients to you. Amazing. So you've started, you've got your rhythm going, you're a new teacher, you're getting all these new clients coming in. Amazing. Now, how are you safeguarding your business? By creating a contractual relationship with your client to make sure that you both know where you stand when you set up the business, when you start your working relationship. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to go through the key concepts and the key points that you need to be entering into your client agreement. So if you like this video, hit the like, subscribe, and don't forget the bell so that you can see every single video that I upload on YouTube. Okay, so let's start with the first thing. So the first item is going to have to be the scope and services. What actually are you going to be offering to your clients? What does your home business or what does your studio offer? Are you offering only Pilates classes? Do you offer yoga? Do you offer any other movement services? And if you are offering Pilates classes, are you offering packages for just Pilates classes? Or do you include all the other services that you offer? So in the same package price, are the other services included? Yes, so be very, very clear in what services you're giving to your clients, and specifically to this particular client, what would the contract entail? Is it going to entail only Pilates, or is it going to include yoga or Tai Chi? Or do you have different modalities that you're going to be offering as one movement to your clients? The second thing would be your payment terms. So how are you going to get paid? When are you going to get paid, and what's the frequency? So for example, if you are setting a package of a number of sessions, then you obviously need to make it clear to the client that the package has to be prepaid and you will not be able to initiate any sessions unless you get payment. How are you going to get paid? You can either get paid by bank transfer, credit card, PayPal, or any other methods that you choose. Just make sure that you enter them into your agreement, because then there is a clear communication between you and the client that the client agrees to be paying you through this method and to be paying you this particular amount. The third point is the studio operating terms. Now, this is going to differ on whether you've got a home-based business or you've got another brick and mortar business outside your home. Things like, you're going to have to consider things like perhaps how they behave during class, how the client behaves before and after class. Perhaps you have a waiting area for the clients to wait at before they start their sessions. And it's also very important to include this in your contract, in your agreement, to say that perhaps they need to keep quiet and they need to keep the silence and do not disturb the peace of the people who are already taking their session. Likewise, once they're finished their session, they don't hover around while they are distracting the new people taking their session. Studio operating terms can vary, and they're very, very different, as I mentioned earlier, but things like bringing children into the studio or bringing children into class or bringing pets into class. I've also had that one before. And think about any other relevant operating terms that you might want to add into your contract. The next one is going to be your client obligations and warranties. What am I trying to say here? You have to make sure that if the client has got any health or any particular issues going on with their body, they must keep you informed. They have to advise you. It's their responsibility to advise you, and then it's your responsibility to make sure that you either avoid an exercise for them, or if you need to do a modification, you do that. But once you know about a client, then you'll be able to take the correct action in class according to what they tell you. The next point is that you need to make sure that your agreement is actually relevant according to the local legislation. So I can't go into this too much because legislation is different everywhere. It varies from state to state, from country to country. So I can only give you a guideline of what you need to be looking at. So we're needing to make sure that the place that you're operating from is fit for its designated purpose. You're providing your services with skill and professionalism. You're delivering your services within a reasonable time and according to the agreed time that you've agreed with your clients. And you're also giving them the classes within a specific time frame. So all these have to be included within your own contract, and you need to make sure that they're following the relevant legislation. So if there are any specific customer service legislations within your area, please make sure you get proper legal advice for this and make sure that whatever clauses you need to be putting into your contract to protect your client, but also to protect yourself, are included in your own contract. Next point is cancellation and refunds. This is super important to put this out right from the day one, from the day go. You really have to make sure you clarify what your cancellation policy is. Do you have a 24-hour cancellation policy? And do you have a refund policy? These things maybe will not appear at the beginning of your sessions with your clients, or you will not have any of these issues at the very beginning, but you don't know how long your relationship with your client's going to be for. So you might come to a year down the line, or maybe 2 years down the line, and then you'll find that the client starts canceling without notice, giving you all sorts of excuses for canceling, and you're understanding that perhaps, I might just waiver this cancellation fee this time. This is totally up to you. You have the prerogative to waiver any cancellation fees, but you can't not waiver cancellation fees if you have no contract, right? So you need to include it in the contract. Make sure that you have very clear and very specific cancellation fees, and also refund policies to make sure that either you say we have no refunds, or perhaps you give specific reasons for refunds. So again, things like perhaps the client says, I have a sick child and I'm unable to come to class today. Then it's down to you, your prerogative, to see whether you want to enforce your cancellation policy, or whether to say, you know what, on this occasion, we will not be charging you, but then perhaps for next time that we have to be charging you for this. Next point is assumption of risk. This is really, really important. You have to have a limited liability here to say that neither you or your staff will be liable for risk should anything happen to your client, whether they are working with you or with any of your teachers, if you have teachers, or whether they're working in your property, or whether they're having an accident perhaps because they neglect to listen to your cues, or perhaps they fail to pay attention to what you're saying to them, or maybe they're distracted by somebody else. The liability clause is very, very important, and there's no risk to be taken here, because then even if you have this clause, people still have a right to claim, but at least it's already there, it's already covered, and it's going to limit your liability. Next is going to be COVID-19 warranties. Now, COVID legislation has changed and it keeps changing through and through. So you need just to make sure that you are following current legislation, and perhaps put a clause in to say that you are following through any changes in legislation, and you make sure that within your contract you put that you don't have to keep putting that there's a social distancing clause, or perhaps wearing the mask clause, because all these things are going to change. But just the fact that you're putting in there that you are following the COVID-19 legislation, and that it's also their responsibility not to come to the studio and work out if they have been infected by COVID-19 and they're testing positive, because obviously that's going to be a liability to the rest of your classes and to the rest of your clients, including yourself and including your staff if you have any. Next clause is going to be about intellectual property. This involves your branding, your policies. It involves any information that the clients might actually get about your studio just by attending your studio. It includes things like your policies, as I mentioned. It could include your scheduling system. It could include your branding, your color scheme, your logo, that your clients can't have any specific right to be using it or to be sharing that information with anybody else. Next point is going to be the dispute resolution procedure. So the dispute resolution is very important just in case any particular time the clients come in and argue or complain about anything specific about your services, your place of work, and any of your staff. It's important that there is a specific procedure and the clients know about it, that perhaps that they have to go to first one point of contact, and if their dispute has not been resolved, then it's escalated to somebody else. And ultimately then the buck is going to stop with you as the studio owner. But what you have to really consider is, if you are one-to-one, if you are the owner of the studio and you're the operator of the studio, then you're going to have these clashes with clients, these disputes that you perhaps feel, I'm the first one and I'm the last one that they're going to contact me with. But you know what? You don't know whether you're going to be growing your business. So why not put this clause in place from day one, so they know that there is a specific policy and procedure in place. And then if anything had to escalate to anything outside your studio, you know that you are also covered. Next point is going to be your privacy policy. So it's very important that you have, especially things like the data protection and the GDPR legislation in Europe. These have a huge impact on how we store, how we accumulate, store and process client data. We also have to make sure that we create a policy where we guarantee to the clients that everything they say to us is kept in 1000% privacy. We keep our level of professionalism on not disclosing any of this information with anybody else. And we are guaranteeing to the client that, yes, we have their best interest at heart, and we are there to be able to give them that level of professionalism that they're actually paying for. So the key takeaways of this video are to really make sure you have a robust and concrete client agreement where you both your client and yourself feel that you are comfortable with going forward under these stipulations, under these policies. You are transparent right from the very first day that you're working with the client. And if there are any issues that perhaps need to be resolved, just when you have got the clients with you, then do them. You know, data protection, for example, is very, very important. Nowadays, we don't just keep client information, as in their name, date of birth, and email addresses, etc. We also have photos of our clients. We also have videos of our clients. So it's important that this information is given, this authorization is given to you from the very, very beginning. Data protection laws are very stringent and very strict, and you can get penalized if you're not following through. So I hope that this has given you an idea, this has given you a good base for you to create your client agreement contracts. If you need further advice, please do reach out to me, anitahoriacademy.com, or if you want to email me, admin@anitahoriacademy.com. If you like this video, please hit the like, subscribe, and don't forget the bell button so that you can see me every time I upload a video on YouTube. Until the next time, goodbye.